Peace and love, everybody. Salute. I wanted to address a little something that I find to be very, very peculiar in my view. I know that you guys have noticed that things have pretty much gone silent with Ryan Garcia over the past month, 2 months or so. This silence, of course, is coming off of the, huge scandal with he and Devin Haney. And even though things have gone silent, I've noticed in the past week or so that he has been resurfacing here and there on his Twitter. And what I've noticed and what has caught my eye is that, you will find little deposits of the mentioning of Devin Haney's name in his tweets, right? And so he seems to be, feeding off of the little bandwagon that he has left to ride, okay, which is basically off the coattails of Devin Haney's name. So among the Twitter posts that I saw of him, what I also noticed was, surfacing of some photos that I found to be, I can't say I was astonished by them, but they definitely did put me in a really deep state of query. I'll just say that. I found myself very curious as to why I was seeing what I was seeing. I'd really like to know what is going on in the mind of Derrick James. That's the question that I have. So, amid seeing those photos of Riri the racist in full disgrace, just working on the pads with Derrick James, these photos are displaying, and I guess he's trying to build up the anticipation, within his fan glazers and sympathizers and get them all riled up about, his inevitable return to the ring and get everybody excited about that. I guess that's why he's posting these photos. And if these photos are recent, which I have no doubt that they are, then that means that to my dismay and to my disapproval, Derrick James has kept Riri as a member of his stable. The coveted world-class boxing gym, you guys, has, since Ryan's arrival, been infiltrated, run amok, turned upside down, soiled, defiled, and has been all types of dishonored. That's just how I see it, hands down. I have long been in protest of, Riri the racist's presence in that gym ever since he and his racist degenerate father called the Haneys nappy-headed. I've reproached the idea, of Derrick James continuing a partnership with Ryan the moment I heard that. And definitely at the moment I saw how utterly uncomfortable D. James was on that stage after those remarks were made. He was quite clearly uncomfortable. It didn't slip my eye. I caught it and I saw every bit of his discomfort with the statement. Now, I don't know how that was rectified after, that presser took place, what conversations were had behind the scenes. But I was appalled. And I have no doubt that, behind the scenes, a lot of capping was going on with Ryan and his father trying to, sweep their comments under the rug and make light of the situation. I already know there was all types of gaslighting and capping going on, to assuage any anxiety or any discomfort that Derrick James had at that particular moment if he did try to check them on the bullshit. Nonetheless, I was through. I was through from that moment on with Ryan and his father, real talk. But of course now, given the absolute folly and humiliation that came about via racist Riri's drug cheating scandal, one can't help but question, amid all of that, why Derrick James would still be supporting this man. The man who purposely took drugs to have the advantage over Devin Haney in their fight back in April. Why is Derrick James behind this coward, you guys? What is the essence of his decision to remain at that man's side? I can't get beyond that question in my mind. Nothing is calculating, nothing is logicking, and the math is definitely not mathing on this for me. What is the basis of his decision to stay? Because he has decided definitively to remain the teacher, to remain the guide, to remain the support to a man of no character. This is the reality here, you guys. What is his judgment based on that would allow him to further risk his own reputation as a trainer, as a master teacher, and as a man of known valor, sensibility, and respect? Is Ryan really worth putting all that on the line for, you guys? I can't help but wonder about these things, y'all. Because he is putting all of this on the line by standing with Ms. Riri. What is the reason for this judgment call? Did Riri beg and plead and put on one of his Oscar-worthy performances for that man, like he's been doing basically since the early half of the year? Right? Did he tell Derrick James, that, if he doesn't train him, the alien's going to get him? Or perhaps maybe he told Derrick James that the children are suffering, right? Or maybe he told him, how Tupac is really King Tut and Nefertiti at the same time, and that he and all of his selves live on the island of Atlantis with Biggie Smalls. Is this how he went about persuading Derrick James? I really need to know. Is this what he told and sold to Derrick James? I'm absolutely astounded and dumbfounded. I cannot help but be, you guys. Because, the reality is that whatever he told Derrick James, it fucking worked, which is astounding to me. Riri the Racist single-handedly ran through the world-class boxing gym, and he demolished all of the prestige, all of the hard work, all of the accolades and the acclaim that he and the beautiful brothers of that stable, Earl Spence Jr., Jamel Charlo, and Frank Martin, have put years and years and blood into building. Earl Spence, has since left that stable completely. We don't know who he's going to be training with for his next fight. We don't even know if he's going to return to fight Earl Spence. Jamel Charlo has since been nowhere to be found. We don't even know, if he's coming back and what his plans are. Anthony Joshua, who briefly visited the stable, has now found refuge, back in the UK with another wonderful trainer, Ben Davidson, who also works with the young king, Devin Haney. So, Joshua's back in the UK. And then there's Frank Martin. Is he the only one that remains? If that's what it seems to be. Ryan looks like he ran a hit job on the world-class boxing gym, you guys. The biggest fight of his career, outside of the one with Tank Davis, was against another elite black man, Devin Haney. And also a fight for which he trained with an elite, world-renowned black trainer. How is it that via his actions and via the most pivotal fight of his career, he managed to soil or attempt to dethrone two elite black men in the sport? How convenient does that look, y'all? His biggest fight just so happened to soil, disrespect, and attempt to tarnish the stature of both men? To forever have synonymous with their names a scandal? Miss me with the bullshit, y'all. I am not here for none of that. Every bit of this looks like a hit job. What's good about this is that he tried and failed as far as Devin is concerned, because Devin, changed the ruling of the outcome of that fight. He is still undefeated, and he will likely have a crazy anticipation for his return to the ring, and he will likely do crazy numbers upon his return to the ring. Everybody and their mama is going to be crowding around that television to see in what shape, in what condition Devin Haney will make his return. So there's a benefit that Devin Haney is coming off of, even despite the turbulence and scandal. But as for Derrick, how can he come back? In what form can he come back? How can he explain his action away? How can he explain his decision to stay at the side of a man who was caught and penalized for cheating? And cheating under his watch, under his tutelage, under his guidance. It looks bad either way you dice it, either way you slice it up. There is no ruling that Derrick James can get in a courtroom that can overturn the fact that he has a cheater in his stable, which he has never had before. There's no ruling that he can get that could efface that history. That's just not something that can take place, unfortunately. Also, in addition to, not having an explanation viable enough that I've heard or that I, think even possible for him to provide, as far as, explaining away his decision to remain at the side of racist Riri, what's also going to be very difficult to explain is that not only is he standing in solidarity pretty much with Ryan's cheating via his decision to remain with him, but also what is he going to say that could explain away his support for Ryan after his deplorable comments and deplorable racist rants and tirades against black people? How you going to explain that one away, Derrick James? I'd really like to know. As somebody who really rocks heavily with this man and has for quite some time, how are you going to explain that away? Are you going to try to sit up here and say, that Ryan was just trolling? Are you perhaps going to take the angle of, that was just a marketing scheme to bring eyes and attention towards XYZ? Or maybe you'll say, well, he apologized for that, you see, so it doesn't really mean much. Is that what the statement is going to hold? Is that the broom you're going to use to sweep the trash? You're going to need a better broom than that, brother. This is disheartening on so many levels because, as I've mentioned, I've admired Derrick James and his work for some years, and it's difficult, really, to be placing him on the spot as I'm doing. However, if you do questionable things, then I will put you into question. You know what I'm saying? I'm disappointed with the King Derrick James, and I can't altogether say with certainty that I'll remain in as much support of his stable or whatever remains of his stable, whatever stable he has left, with as much interest as I have had before. I cannot say that with certainty because the moves are looking shaky, unquestionably with Ryan, and it's making me look at you sideways because you have a, pledged loyalty, apparently, to this man that I find to be without character. So I don't know. He has a lot to answer to with this one. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm on to the next. Peace.